All right, it's 7:01 p.m. on December 2nd, 2024. We're going to begin this regular meeting of the Rutherford Board of Education. We'll ask everyone who can to please stand, face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll ask Mr. Whitford to please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian?
Present.
Mrs. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Conti?
Present.
Mr. Healy?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Present.
Mr. Maison?
Present.
Dr. Racine? Mr. Sprayberry? And Dr. Eladi.
Here.
And I should say, Sarah, I'm sorry you don't know your last name.
Oh, it's Ioria.
Ioria. Miss Ioria.
Right.
I'll add you to our roll call.
Thank you.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Rutherford Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place posted on the bulletin board outside the Borough Clerk's office, mailed to the Herald, South Bergenite, and the Record newspapers, and filed with the Borough Clerk. Hard copies of the agenda are available in the meeting room, and the agenda is posted electronically on Friday before the meeting date on the district's website at www.rutherfordschools.org. Subsequent to the meeting, a video of the meeting will be uploaded to the district's website, www.rutherfordschools.org. The video link can be found by opening the Board of Education link and clicking on Public Meetings and then Videos. So board members, in your packets, there are minutes to approve from the regular meeting and executive session from November 11th, 2024. Any questions or comments on those? All right, seeing none, I'll ask Mr. Whitford to please enter those. We're going to make a quick switch and have our student representative, Sarah, go first. So over to you.
Good evening. I hope everyone had a nice holiday weekend. So last Wednesday, we hosted the National Honor Society Spelling Bee against Becton. It was a very close competition, but Becton did eventually end up winning. There were a lot of students in the audience supporting their classmates who were participating in the spelling bee. Tomorrow is the Future Business Leaders of America regional competition, where students take online tests in their chosen event and compete against students from other schools in North Jersey. Winter sports have started up and the teams have begun practicing, getting ready for the upcoming season. The sports booster dinner will be held this Tuesday, December 3rd at the Fiesta. The winter concert will be held on Thursday, December 12th with performances by the RHS Band and Choir, who have been working extra hard to prepare for the show. Everyone is looking forward to the upcoming holiday break and many clubs are participating in holiday activities. The Honor Society is collecting boxes of kindness again, and various other clubs have been putting them together to donate as well. The boxes are being packed with necessities as well as other small gifts or activities, and they'll be donated to middle schools in Newark. Additionally, the future business leaders and future teachers are participating in their annual bear drive. For this project, the students in the clubs have donated teddy bears, and they will wrap them and deliver them to a preschool in Jersey City. This is a really fun activity that our students look forward to every year, especially when we go and deliver them and the kids get to read and play and we drop off the bears. This year, the Future Teachers of America are hosting a holiday movie night fundraiser for the club. This will be held on the evening of Thursday, December 19th, and the students in the club will be volunteering to help run the event. It's geared towards kindergarten students and elementary school kids, and we will have various activities for the kids as well. There will be a holiday movie shown in the auditorium, pictures with Disney characters, crafts, and a snack stand. The future teachers are running another fundraiser, and if their goal is reached, Mr. Morano and Mr. DeBerry will be dressing up as elves on the day before winter break when we have our holiday assembly at the high school.
Wait, what do we have to do to make that happen?
The goal is $500, I think.
You know, I dressed up as Santa Claus every year, and nobody got a dime out of it. Why are these guys raising money? I don't get it, but anyway.
So I have some additional information to share from some of the other schools. So the Kindergarten Center wanted to share that they're in year 2 of their reading program and the first year of their math program, both of which have been going very well so far. And Lincoln School students are getting excited for the holidays and have their upcoming holiday shop where they get to purchase gifts for their loved ones. This is a fun way to incorporate math skills as they'll have to add up the cost of their purchases and pay for them. And lastly, from Washington School, the students had their annual Thanksgiving parade where each class designed their own float or poster showcasing the students' creativity. Student presenters also worked on building public speaking skills by sharing about their class float, telling jokes, and singing songs. That's all for tonight.
All right, thank you. First off, I want to compliment you on getting some feedback from other schools about what's going on besides Rutherford High School, but always very comprehensive. Any questions or comments from board members?
Good job.
Excellent
Thank you.
report.
Excellent report. Good job. All right. Well, keep up the great work. This is definitely a highlight of our meeting, even if we're quiet. We enjoy hearing from the student perspective for sure. So I want to wish you happy holiday, and you're more than welcome to stay if you'd like to hear about our audit findings and then everything else we're doing this evening. But if you have to go, we understand as well.
Thank
Your
you.
priorities. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right, so we are going to hear now the report of the auditor, Alex Baris. Did I get your last name correct? All right. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So Alex Paris, Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss, we completed your June 30th, 2024 audit. The district received an unmodified opinion, which represents a clean opinion, and it's the highest level that can be obtained. There were no material weaknesses or any significant deficiencies in the audit, which is a good thing. Usually I go over your general fund balance, which is the district's operating fund. So at June 30th, 2024, the district had approximately 6.2 million in fund balance, but there are certain restrictions to 6.2. The first being your capital reserve. In your capital reserve, there is approximately 3.2 million, but this is restricted for capital projects, and these are projects that are listed in your long-range facilities plan only. Then there is the maintenance reserve of 100,000. This is for maintenance projects only. We have excess surplus of approximately 968,000. This is a revenue that was generated in your last two audits that will be appropriated in your next two budgets, 24-25 and 25-26, as budget relief, as a revenue. Unemployment compensation reserve is approximately 168,000, and this is restricted for your unemployment claims. Reserve for encumbrances, 253,000. These are your open purchase orders that were committed at year end, but the goods and services were not rendered, so that's reserved. And lastly, your unassigned, unrestricted amount, which the state allows you to keep only 2% max plus any allowable adjustments, is approximately 1.4 million. As far as recommendations, there are two findings and recommendations in this year's audit. We consider them low-level recommendations. They're not, again, material weaknesses or any significant deficiencies. One is a repeat from the prior year. We met with management to discuss them in detail. And I know on tonight's agenda, there is a corrective action plan that's going to address the findings. So, but overall, it was a good audit. The district has a healthy fund balance. And, we thank the business office and the superintendent's office for their full cooperation. It was basically a seamless and painless audit this year. So if there's any questions about the fund balance or the recommendations, I can take those questions at this time.
Questions or comments from board members? I was saying to Mr. Baris that my school goes through the same process each year, and it's been a great audit the last few years. So congratulations to Jack Hurley and Joe for all the work in the past, and Mr. Whitford as well, who gave us a really good breakdown of the audit findings as well. So it was very helpful. So thank you for that.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And I would like to add my thanks to Mr. Kelly, and because this covers the year that he was still here.
Correct.
But also, for Mr. Whitford to come in and have to actually guide the ship through the process when you're working with the work that someone else did. is not always an easy task. And so I congratulate him and thank him for that, because it was seamless. And also, you know, many of the suggestions and discussions that we had, you know, in speaking with Mr. Whitford, both prior to the audit exit meeting that we have, and after, he already had an action plan and he had a process to try to, you know, just smooth out those couple edges that were a little rough. So again, it's always a very comfortable feeling I have as superintendent to have a business administrator, and that has not changed, that I have full confidence in, and to be in a healthy financial situation that we're in each and every year. So congratulations to everyone, and the budget managers and all the people that work in the budget. And thank you, because it's been 2 years now, and second audit that we've done, and it's, like you said, seamless, a great working relationship, a great team of folks that come up and spend about 2 weeks with us every year.
Right.
And it's a pleasure working with you.
Same here, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so with that, we are going to move on to the report of the superintendent.
Thank you. A couple of things. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving holiday and a nice weekend. It's always a pleasant weekend because everything's closed. Everybody thinks everybody's off, so my phone doesn't beep as much as other weekends. And it's nice. You know, it's nice to feel a little bit of winter in the air now too. I know we like warmer weather, but it's good. Feels good. Feels like holidays. A couple of agenda items mentioned. As I can mention now, school calendar for next year is on for approval. Pretty much mirrors the calendar that we had last year. There'll be, the board will be asked for awarding a bid for the Univent projects at Union School and Lincoln School, and that was discussed with Building and Grounds. And it's continuing our efforts to try to get all of our Univents that are at sort of like end of life for them up to speed. And we have ROD grant money for part of that as well. And child study team member Doreen Salter, her as an addendum, she's on the agenda for retirement, which I believe will be March 1st. So she'll be retiring. Also, I sent in the packet a copy of the proposed board meeting dates for next year. They will be officially approved at the reorg meeting by the board. But I thought by getting them ahead of time, if there was anything that you saw as being concerning or for your own personal calendars to mark those, you'd have them ahead of time. And again, it pretty much mirrors last year. There's a couple of tweaks due to different where holidays fall and graduation falls and things like that. We heard from CUSAC, and if you remember 6 years ago, for those of you that were on the board, we were the #1 draft pick. We were the first school visited on January 4th. This year, you know, the first shall be last, the last shall be first. We will be the last school visited. They're coming to us on April 2nd. So, you know, in some ways, we have most of the work completed already. We like to kind of get it done, right? But on the other hand, it gives us time to make sure we're not missing anything and get everything in order. So April 2nd, the county will come in to visit us for CUSAC. What that also means, since things get turned around, the county does a great job of turning it around. The state turns it around very slowly. So when we got visited in January, we didn't get the report till July or August. I mean, we might be getting the report now into October or November of next year, but so be it. We'll see when we get it. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Sarah mentioned the sports dinner tomorrow night and the various concerts that are going to be going on throughout the month of December. I sent you dates. You know, I want to just mention that I give you dates off the master calendar I've given. Sometimes things do change a little bit. It's probably always good to double check if you're planning on going on the webpage, because the school would update it if there was some change. A reminder that our reorg meeting is January the 6th, and that the board packet for that meeting will go out on December 19th, because we are able to use, in lieu of days and for holidays and the like, to close down over the holiday break. So that packet will come out on December the 19th. We have scheduled and you may have to help me with this, because I know we had a couple of different dates. January 13th, I believe we were going to go finance at 5:45 and negotiations at 6:30. And we're doing those live meetings in my office. When we come back from the break, we will send out, reminders and agendas and the like. And we'll review this all at the reorg meeting. As you know, the end of the calendar year is the end of this board, right? And then the board gets reborn in January. I'm pleased that we have the same board that's going to be reborn. But again, I want to thank you for a very successful board life here. We have fiscal years, academic years, and we have board life years. And we had a good year, and I look forward to getting started in January. I mentioned that, and Dr. Alati will be talking to some of you. He might be mentioning his report about committees. Traditionally, we have kept the Finance Committee whole, if we could do that. But should any committee change, then the January 13th meeting would be impacted by that change. So, happy holidays. I know it's early in December, but, Hanukkah and Christmas, I believe, fall within a day of each other this year. So, for those people out who may be watching, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Holidays. Looking forward to an exciting 2025. Okay, and that's my report. Yes, Diane?
When you said live meeting, you mean in attendance?
In my office. In my
Yeah.
office, yeah. And that primarily is because we felt with the negotiations meeting, there could be any number of documents from past negotiations that we might want to look at. Just be easier to have them right on the shelf.
All right, thank you, Mr. Early. Questions or comments? All right, hearing none, we will move on now to the report of the president. So first off, as Jack said, January 6th is the reorganization meeting. And after that, committees are determined and you're all notified before the late January meeting, which is January 27th. I know each year you usually get a document and you check off what you're interested in doing. I end up usually following up with the majority, if not all of you. So I thought we would just go with that approach. So I'm going to reach out to everyone in the next couple of weeks before we go on winter break, just to see what people's interests are in terms of committee, liaison reps for different schools and organizations. And then we will plan to go from there. And then speaking of things in January, we are going to get the board self-evaluation off the ground. So the thought is we're going to send it out this week. And thank you to James Bogosian for helping to set that up once again. And thought that it would give everyone plenty of time. So if everyone can have it done by the reorg meeting around that time frame, which gives everyone about a month, then we can go over it at the January 27th meeting. And the thought is, we're looking at having the same board, so we can all review and go over the board self-eval at that point. So hopefully that timeline works for everyone. So that will go out this week. And I know that we have three people going to the All Sports Booster Dinner tomorrow night. So thanks for those who are going to that. And I know this Saturday we have our delegate assembly. Thank you to Mr. Healy, who attends that. I was reading on NJSBA some of their professional development offerings, and most of them are hybrid, just so people know, meaning you can go in person or you can be remote. But there's some interesting workshops coming up in December and January on topics such as ethics, public relations, AI, budgeting, cybersecurity, good governance. So feel free to go on there, and if you're interested in any of those, let myself know, let Mr. Hurley and Mr. Whitford know, so we can set that up and keep professional development going. And finally, I just want to compliment Mr. Met on the microphones. Microphones are working wonderfully this evening, and appreciate your attention to those. Excellent. And again, happy holidays to everyone. And that's it for me. Questions or comments from board members? All right. Hearing none, at 7:21, we are going to open the meeting to the public for Questions or comments? There is no one here this evening, so we're going to close the meeting at 7:21 PM and move to new business where there is action to be taken. We will start with personnel. Mrs. Cole.
Good evening. Personnel did not meet this month. We have 19 motions to be put forward at the recommendation of the superintendent tonight. Number 1 is to approve a salary level change as listed. Number 2, to adjust the start date for a lunch monitor. This is a replacement position. Number 3 is to adjust the start date for a part-time bus assistant. This is a new position. Number 4, to approve a home instructor. Number 5, to approve the payback of sick days as listed. Number 6 is to approve the payback of vacation days as listed. Number 7 is to approve an increase in the hourly wage for the following positions as listed. Number 8, to approve an increase in the hourly wage for the following staff members, all lunch hall monitors as listed. Number 9 and 10, to approve a disability leave with pay. Number 11, to approve the following nurses for the Bulldog Care Program as listed. Number 12, to approve the following counselor for the Bulldog Care Program as listed. Number 13, to approve the following field experience assignment as listed. 14, to approve the following teachers for presentations on differentiated instructions for special ed, 504, RTI, and ESL students as listed. Number 15, to approve the following substitute teachers as listed. Number 16, to approve the following substitute teacher assistants as listed. Number 17, to approve the following travel reimbursements as listed. And number 18 is to accept the retirement of Doreen Salter with regret effective March 1st, 2025. And number 19 is to approve a long-term substitute elementary teacher.
All right, thank you. Questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Ms. Cole, do you want to move this?
I'd like to move motions 1 through 19 under personnel.
All right, we have a second. Mr. Bogosian, any last questions or comments? Hearing none. Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes on 1 through 7, abstaining on 8, and yes 9 through 19.
noted, thank you. Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maison,
Yes.
and Dr. Lottie.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
All right, thank you. We will move on now to curriculum and instruction. Ms. Jones.
Thank you. We did not have a meeting, and tonight there are 6 motions put forth by the recommendation of our superintendent. The school calendar, and there's 3 professional workshop days for the teachers on it that I see anyway. 2 is out-of-district placements, 3 field trips totaling 94, harassment, intimidation, and bullying decision is number 4. 5 is a home instruction for 1 student, and 6 is curriculum guides. These are new, the executive functioning skills for union schools and elective, and the high schools, honor, concert choir, and honors wind ensemble. It was felt that they needed these to retain our good musicians.
All right, thank you, Ms.
That's it.
Jones. Any,
Yeah, I want to thank the curriculum committee for expediting via email and the approval of those 3 electives. You know, in the crazy world of education, you start thinking about 25, 26 before you're even done with 24. And the scheduling process begins in January. So we had to get these, I think, very vital and I think really important electives approved so they could be in the curriculum guides for the students. So I thank you for your cooperation in expediting that.
I think they're great offerings. I really appreciate the executive functioning skills. It's such an important part of development. Any questions or comments by board members? All right, Ms. Jones, do you want to move those?
I move resolutions 1 through 6.
All right, we have a second. Mr. Mazzone, any last questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maison,
Yes.
Dr. Lottie.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. We'll move on now to finance. Mr. Bogosian.
Good evening. The Finance Committee met last Monday to review the 25-26 budget calendar, the results of the 23-24 audit and the corrective action plan, the referendum fund balance, and our banking setup. Tonight, we have 5 motions to consider. Number 1 is the routine approval of bills. Number 2 is the October Treasurer's Report. Number 3 is budget line transfers. Number 4 is our ESSA submission. And number 5 is to accept the 23-24 school year audit and acknowledge the 2 audit recommendations.
All right, thank you. Questions or comments? All right, Mr. Bogosian, you want to move those?
I'd like to move motions 1 through 5 under finance.
All right, second, Mr. Healy. Any last questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maison,
Yes.
Dr. Lottie.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Thank you. Move on to policy. Anything to report, Mr. Healy?
No, we did not have a committee meeting since the last board meeting, and there are no resolutions for this
Okay.
meeting.
Then we will move on to building and grounds. In Mr. Sprayberry's absence, we'll ask building and grounds member, Mr. Bogosian, to please do the report.
Yes, hello again. The Buildings and Grounds Committee met after the Finance Committee last Monday. Like the Finance Committee, we reviewed the referendum balance and project plan. We also reviewed the current capital reserve, the univent work that is on the agenda tonight, and the current projects underway. Also of note, Mr. Whitford will be investigating an ESIP investigation of the district to see where we can benefit from energy savings in our buildings. Tonight on the agenda, we have 3 motions to consider. Number 1 is to award a contract for the replacement of univents at Union and Lincoln School to Sunnyfield Corporation. Number 2 is to approve the transfer of $319,000 from capital reserve for the purposes of the contract in motion number 1. And number 3 is to approve Murray Paving and Concrete to complete the awarded ESCNJ contract.
All right, thank you. Questions or comments? Mr. Conti?
Yeah, just this Univent project, how much percentage-wise, is this half of it? How much left do we have to do after we do this?
The Union School, the entire first floor will be updated.
Okay,
Lincoln School, I believe that also takes care of every classroom.
Everyone, yeah.
Yep.
okay,
So we're essentially done at Lincoln, Washington, and K Center
okay,
after the project.
right, yeah,
We'll have a handful, whatever that means, at Union, and maybe a handful and a half here
Okay.
at the high school, and then some at Pierpont. So it's going to probably be another 2 or 3 years. You know, we're not going to be helped by ROD grant. Well, you never know what happens with ROD grants, but for now, we're not going to be helped by them.
Got it.
But the goal was, you know, to try to, within, let's say, a 5-year period, to get them all up to, you know, they have about 50-year life.
Yeah.
So, you know, the goal is to get them all up so they're well under that.
got it, okay.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Mr. Bogosian?
So number 3, this is a previously awarded contract
So
that's gone over the threshold.
No.
one of the conversations with our auditor is that anytime that we use a cooperative, purchasing cooperative, state contract, national co-ops, that are exceeding the bid threshold of $44,000, the board should approve those contracts. We don't have to go out to bid for them because they've already been bid through a cooperative. But if we are awarding it over 44, the board should at least have a resolution basically acknowledging that we're using a cooperative to exceed the bid threshold. It's just one of the aspects of using one of those local cooperatives. Again, we don't have to, it saves time and it saves money that the board doesn't have to go out to bid for it. But at minimum, we have to pass a resolution acknowledging that we're using the cooperative exceeding that threshold.
Other questions? All right, hearing none. Want to move this?
I'd like to move motions 1 through 3 under Buildings and Grounds.
All right. We have a second, Ms. Cole. Any last questions or comments? Hearing none. Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maison,
Yes.
and Dr. Lottie.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
All right. Excellent. We're going to move on to old business. Any old business? Ms. Jones?
I did go to the Washington School Parade, and because I go there, I can't go to the high school spelling, because it's the same time always, the day before Thanksgiving. So I'm the liaison to Washington School, so plus it was Jessica Saxon's first year, and I wanted to do that. And it was wonderful. And again, the tribute was made to Betty Orsolisi, whom I knew well. She was a wonderful teacher, and her contribution of having that parade has started a wonderful tradition. And the other thing under old business was I watched you, Mr. Hurley, at Lincoln School when you did the last second cup of coffee.
Parent Academy, yeah.
And it was very interesting. It was very good. I enjoyed it. I had read the book, so I was familiar with what you're talking. But on one of them, I'm delighted I'm not bringing up my kids that would take.
I wanted to comment on
any phones or anything.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on the Parent Academy when you're finished. I should have mentioned it in my report, but
Oh, you got now.
well, so kind of under old business, it's been a remarkable. I mean, we did the one on math that we had about 45 people at. We have one coming up this Friday at Lincoln. One was at Washington on math at Lincoln. We're having one on phonics this week. But we did the one at Pierpont for grades 4 to 12 on cell phone and social media. We probably had well over 40 parents. And then the one that you're referring to at Lincoln, which was based on the other part of that book, free play and allowing children to do things independently, okay? And again, we had well over 40 people, but more importantly, and we have a couple of more coming up on that topic. The amount of interest and conversation, I've received more emails regarding these presentations than from any other presentation we've done. People have stopped me on the street. There's been kind of a grassroots discussion. Parents are telling me that younger parents are going to try to form a little group of sign a pledge, let's all band together and let's not give our kid a smartphone until they get to a certain age. I've had Girl Scouts, a group came up and asked if they could meet with me to talk about ideas, that they could do something through their group. Another group of parents wanted to know how they could go about getting a space somewhere in the community where they could meet and talk to each other. It really has created a level of discussion and thought, which I think is important. And it's a conversation people are having among themselves, which is good. So I'm pleased with it. I want to give credit to Ms. Coy, who oversees it, and the number of people that have taken part as presenters in each of the workshops. Our administrators, supervisors, teachers, counselors have been a part of it. So it's been a very successful endeavor. And it's generated a lot of, I think, very positive thought and conversation in the community.
I wish you would do them on Tuesdays and Thursdays instead of Wednesdays and Fridays.
Why is that?
Exercise class.
That's just a coincidence we're doing that. I'm not kidding. Yeah. And I did go to the parade and the spelling bee. I'm just saying, and I did offer you a ride. Yeah, I mean, those are two traditional things on Thanksgiving that have been going on for years and years and years and years. The spelling bee, I mean, the parade, I think it was the 18th year, and the spelling bee, probably 50 years. It's been a long time. Goes back to whenever Rutherford started playing Becton on Thanksgiving Day. That was always done the day before. So it's been a long time, and we haven't lost many. I used to when I was principal, I gave a little fiery pep talk. Ms. Cole understands my fiery pep talk, and it wasn't very much different for the spelling beers either. But that's why we won. But it's great, and it's good to see the two schools get together. They have a breakfast, before the administrators. When we do 1 year here, 1 year there, the administrators come over, the moderators. It's a nice sense of community. So it's a fun day.
Excellent. Any other old business? All right, we'll move on to legislative update. Anything for us, Mrs. Jones?
This is Senate Bill 3876, introduced last week, 11/18, or 2 weeks ago, 11/18/24, by Angela V. McKnight, who is in District 31 out of Hudson. Requires school districts to provide instruction on artificial intelligence. Requires Secretary of Higher Education to develop artificial intelligence model curricula for grades K through 12 as part of the district's implementation of the New Jersey's student learning standards in computer science and design thinking.
Well, like I always say, those are nice ideas that, they come up with in the assembly or the legislature. But, and it's easy to do. You just go on artificial, intelligence. You say, write a curriculum for me, and we'll do it. But the real thing that we're hearing from a lot of the folks, in education, in the Department of Education, and the various groups, is we have to move slowly. We don't want to rush through because things change rapidly. I don't know if you need a course in it. I think you need to figure out how you're going to use it in all your courses, in all your operations. And we use it more now than we even think we're using it on a daily basis. But what we're doing is I've asked Ms. O'Donnell to create a committee, and we've asked for volunteers. And the committee is going to look to come up with guidelines and suggestions about how to use it on the administrative side and how to use it on the academic side. We don't want to jump into policy because policy takes a long time to approve and has a long shelf life, and things are rapidly changing. So this committee is going to meet, and we use some of our computer tech people. I don't mean the technicians, I mean the teachers who work with educational technology, Ms. O'Donnell and some other teachers as well, to come up with some guidelines to share throughout the district. I think the committee is going to start meeting in January. I've attended several workshops on it. Other people have, but it's we have to move, but we don't want to rush to make decisions on how to use it. I'll keep you posted on that committee, like the others. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Jones. At 7:38, we're going to open the meeting to the public for any comments related to or not related to the agenda, and we have no one here in the audience, so we're going to close the meeting at 7:38 p.m. We do not have a need for executive session, so we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Bogosian, seconded by Mr. Mazzone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and we are adjourned. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful New Year.
Happy holidays.